Search for the key at the Murk water fishing spot. Hey, we're up. We're up. We've got updates. We've got updates. The devs have released some updates after the closed beta. So we are going to go through them. Got some gameplay up. So from when we were playing in the beta. So we should be able to keep us entertained. I remember doing this quest. This quest was doing my head in. It was search for the key at the Murkwater fishing spot. I thought you had to fish for it because they said the key could be deep in the water. So I was going around. I'm looking for it now. I'm on the map. It's pointing me in the right direction. If you're looking at the compass at the top, I did find something behind a tree. I was looking in the boats. It's like, surely this key's got to be somewhere. Either way, he can fish for days. He can fish. But most important, updates. Let's see what... So I'm just going to go... I've got my notes here. All the updates that have come through for Chrono Odyssey. So if you're part of the official Discord, you would have got a ping early this morning, depending which country you're in, that Chrono Odyssey has added a new channel to their Discord. It was the developer channel, so you can go in there and the devs actually responding. So usually you get the PR people and bits and pieces that pop in, but this time the devs got their own channel where they're responding in regards to what they're going to do, and they actually give a lot of detail and then explain what that detail is. So if you want to go check out the Discord, that's probably the best place to go. You'll see all the bits and pieces that they got there. But first of all, they did say thank you to everyone, obviously, for putting their bits and pieces in. Oh, I got fishing, level 2. Nice. So they said they admit things weren't perfect. Issues with animations, combat responsiveness, performance, and graphics stood out. So I think if you played the beta, it's very clear that there were some issues among those things. So they've split this into two. So they've started off with part 1, and then there's going to be a part 2. So this is multi-part, and they did start off with in part 1 with combat and animation as one of their biggest things. So the feedback was it was laggy attacks, and this was due to server desyncs. And so what they're going to do, they're going to separate motion and combat packets for consistent responsive combat. So as you probably know, through the combat, look, it wasn't bad. I don't know, maybe because I played Berserker and my attacks were a lot slower. Maybe that's why it felt okay. It was hitting all right. But either way, they highlighted that there were some issues with desyncing across the platform. So what they're going to do, they're going to work on consistent packets, whatever that means. Either way, they're working on it. So I think if I was able to try the bow, something that worked a lot quicker, I probably would have noticed a bit more. The other one was each class. Now this is a new one. So this one's an exciting one. I don't know how this one's going to go, but each class or each weapon gets 4 progression paths. So before, when we were playing, you'd get your path for your weapon, you could put your skills in, but now it's going to get four progression paths. Reading the note, each class weapon gets your 4 progression paths, creating unique builds and play styles. So that'll be interesting. So no matter what weapon you've got, you do have options. Which is very, very nice. The camera. This was a big one. So the camera is going to get an overhaul. So as you probably know, when you're locking on or you're spinning the camera around, things will get in the way. They might be jagged and a bit janky. So what they're going to do with the camera is they're going to fix lock-on problems, abrupt target changes, awkward zoom, and vertical shakes. I think that awkward zoom was a big problem. I think when you're just zooming around and you're fighting, it wasn't clean, it wasn't clear. You really need to know what you're doing and how you're doing it. Look, I'm still looking for this quest. I don't know if any of you guys found this quest, but I'm going to move off this fishing spot because we'll be there. We'll be fishing for hours. All right, sweet. Now I'm just farming mushrooms. Oh, this is where we had to get the spider. So I'm getting distracted. We'll leave him there. So I think positive. So far we've got camera overhaul. We've got the new matrix system for the weapons, which is a super big one. Combat and animation improvements being laggy. That's another fix. Like I said, I didn't have too much of a problem. With it, but if it's highlighted and on the priority list, we'll take it. Another one is the longer hit reactions from 2 to 4 seconds. Previously, the hit reactions were about 1 second. So what we're going to do is now there's going to be a risk reward system with 2 to 4 seconds with longer hit reactions. So I don't necessarily know what that is, but obviously hitting and having your reacting is going to last 2 to 4 seconds. Is that you swinging the weapon or using the ability, or getting hit with that stagger or stun? So there's going to be a 2 to 4 second. So they're calling it a risk reward system. And then the other one on top of that, some controls and tuning. Oh, a bit of PvP here. I actually remind myself. This poor person was only level 6, and I challenged him to a duel. Here we go. No, I invited him to the guild, and then I dueled them. This is an absolute demolish. I do feel sorry. for this one. And then, as I said, there's so many notes that come out of this developer thing. So the floating. So I don't know if you notice, as you're walking across the land, you were not sinking to the ground. It was literally floating across the ground. So you'll probably see it in a few seconds after watching this fight. The walking or the running did not sync with the ground. It was terrible. Yeah, and let's see how this fight goes. Coming with the slam. She got the good old dodge slide going. Pulls out the bow. Didn't have a chance. Oh, that's it. Dead. The funny part about this was that she stood back up. And then as soon as she stood back up, she had no health. And the wolf came up behind her and ate her. Ah, poor thing. So what we've got, recapping, we've got combat animation, so we're going to have the improvements on laggy combat. We've got the new matrix system, so we're going to have each class is going to have 4 progression paths. The camera overhaul, so we're going to fix lock-on problems, abrupt target changes and awkward zoom and vertical shakes. Then we've got longer hit reactions, so 2 to 4 seconds to add risk reward plus fixing unnatural floating movement. Then we've got performance and optimization. So this was a huge one. So as you know, the sky, the color, you're just looking at it in front. It's not clear. It wasn't clean. So the GPU load. So using instant static meshes for repeated assets to cut draw calls. So what that means is obviously they're going to put static meshes within the world. Hopefully hopefully they got a lot of different static meshes so it doesn't feel so clunky and the world is just was the same node everywhere. I do like the fact that it ended up changing. So you are going to see the static meshes repeated. That will save on GPU load. Trim sheets, not sure what trim sheets are, but single shared textures for many details, saving memory while keeping visual sharp. Then we've got collision data, loaded only when needed, reducing memory bloat. Dynamic loading, so high-end PCs get better assets, low-end optimized ones for stable performance, which is good. So that's good, and it's glad that they can note that one. Then we've got the graphic enhancements. So rendering pipeline, consolidated shaders, better ocean and wave effects with less GPU strain. The water did look terrible at some stages. We've got screen quality, new temporal super resolution setting for clearer images, less blur and ghosting. And then we've got upscaling support, so DLSS for the game integration for smooth performance. So we all know DLSS is working quite well for NVIDIA, and FSR for AMD. And then we've got lighting systems, cluster-based management, reducing redundant calculations, maintaining constant exposure. That's pretty good in itself because, as we know, the lighting was terrible. Now that's essentially in a nutshell. So if you go look at, you need that. You 100% need that, Mighty. So if you go look in the Discord and read all the developer notes, they've got a lot more detail in regards to what they're doing and how they're doing it. But they're the main ones. So lighting, movements, mechanics, all the important ones everyone has spoken about. And then there's going to be a part 2. So once they've done part 1, they're going to do part 2, which is going to cover sound, the UI, social features. I actually didn't mind the social features. The social features actually were quite seamless for me. I thought it was actually very good. So we'll see what the social features are. Progression again. I thought progression was really good. So that's on the list. And then they got more on top of that. So they haven't highlighted what's on top of that. So the main ones for part 2 are the sound, the UI, social features, and progression. So it's all about quality over speed, they say. And that's pretty much it. So in a nutshell, we are going to go get all the improvements across the graphics, the screen quality, the upscaling, the controls, tuning that, the fighting, the combat, the movement. So it's all highlighted. So they did highlight N's note that they are having, they've noticed the performance issues that everyone saw in the beta. I'm going to make the assumption that the beta is not what exactly what they're playing with, and what we were given in the beta is something different. But they did note that there were issues. I'm sure they got a lot of feedback from everyone. Good news is they're communicating. They're letting us know what's wrong, what they're working on, and to be honest, I think they hit the nail on the head. I think if they're fixing those things and can fix those things, I think we've definitely got something to look forward to later in this year. What is the date? We've still got another at least 3 months before we even get the game, but I'm going to guess maybe it's going to be about 4 or 5. Hopefully it doesn't get pushed back. 2025. The party in guild, it did work well, Mighty. It worked very well. Well, I want to know more about this matrix system. So each class had its own matrix system, has 4 different progression trees not each class, each weapon has 4 different progression trees, apparently. So right now we had 3. So I'm going to make the assumption that we had 3 now, and then they're adding a 4th. So if they add a 4th, then we're, I don't know what that's going to be. It seemed to me like the middle section was more of a defensive, where the left was more and the right's a bit more attacking. The passives are fantastic. I am a big fan when we can start stacking passives. You give me a class where you can stack passives, I'm stacking those passives straight away. Now, where were we up to? Gotta love the hat. As you can see, the lighting is terrible. To be honest, I'm looking forward to opening up the rest of this map as well. Teleporting back was great. The weapon swap passive were amazing. I think the weapon swapping was quite seamless. A lot of people were saying they don't like weapon swapping. And they're saying, oh, let's take away weapon swapping. Why do we have to do weapon swapping? Well, you don't have to do weapon swapping, but I thought it was quite good. If your current weapon wasn't working, bang, press another button. You pretty much swap in every game. Even if it's an FPS, you go from a knife to a pistol to an assault rifle. No one's complaining about having 3 different weapons. But as soon as you get into a game that you can actively weapon swap, people complain. That's right. I was sizing myself up against this guy. Remember, because I created the largest person you could possibly make. I think I'll do that again, to be honest. When we jump back into the game, I'll create the guy as big as I can. Jesus, I had some stuff to salvage, didn't I? Just looking at what I'm salvaging here. Now there was a note in regards to, hey old man. Oh man, did you check out Chrono Odyssey? I think you did, didn't you? Not sure if it's your type of game, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So this is how you invite people to guild. You literally walk up to them. One thing we do need is world chat. We do need world chat. Open world. If get on the mic and we can talk to people. Now, who have we got here? So apparently the bounties was the #1 task that people were completing in the beta. There's obviously a lot of other things you can do, but when it came to open world content, the bounties were the #1 piece of equipment. The #1 thing that people were doing. Guy's 170 centimeters tall. Now this, I didn't mind this guy. So you could buy recipes from this guy, but you didn't necessarily know what you're getting. It was just a recipe. So there is like a gambling type system in here. Finally, it took me ages to get this spider leg dish. So the best part about it, and I'll just pause it there. Okay, go back a second. Oh, now I've gone too far. We've got 11 hours of content right here. One more. Go again. Oh, I did do it. And it goes back 10 seconds. So the best part about cooking, crafting, and doing all the PvE type activities, you still get XP towards the skill. So you increase your skill, but you also get XP by doing it. So I know that was a big thing they were saying, that regardless whether you're fighting out in the world or crafting, you still get XP to go towards what you're doing. We should actually go check what the XP was per kill. I don't know why I'm thinking 9 in my head, but as you can see, if I go make a whole lot of hardy pottage, then I get 11 XP towards my berserker. I didn't like that it's, in crafting, it costs you more money to craft than what you can sell it for. You have to sell raw materials to fund the crafting part. Did you? So you're saying you had to fund to... You're saying you had to... You weren't getting... You weren't selling your stuff back and getting what you paid for it. Really? I'm just trying to think about it now. But were these, so would you make it? I guess you don't get your mats completely back. So if you found something in the world and sold it, okay, you might get half. But you're saying if you craft something, you weren't getting it all back. But why did you do that? So it might cost you 500 to make a sword, but it would sell for 250. But isn't that in all games, old man? Because usually you don't get the same return when you sell back to the market. Tell me a game where you've crafted something and you sold back to the NPCs and got more than what you did. In WoW, you get more? I'm gonna have to look at that, old man. I feel like it feels like everything devalues after you craft it, unless you're selling it on the auction house. But you talking about auction house or NPC? I know the auction house wasn't, I don't know whether it wasn't working or there wasn't anything on there. NPC? To be honest, I've never looked at it that way. I would say 9 times out of 10, you get less back. Look, I could be wrong. I could be 100% be wrong, but I just feel like anything you craft, you wouldn't get the same return unless selling it on the auction house. Then because in some games, when you get everything back when you scrap it or salvage it, then that was a positive. What if you sold the raw materials? What am I doing here? I'm putting everything in my warehouse. I should have played with these materials a lot more in the final hours of the beta. In WoW, it does... Oh, okay, because it costs money. Okay, because you have the gold sink. Yeah, gotcha. The game costs money to craft. Crafting isn't free. Yes, I get what you're saying now. I thought you meant in regards to the materials. But yes, you got to spend money to craft. But I think that's all. That's what sort of For me, in the starting part of the game, it seemed to be all right. I didn't mind it because it meant you had to still go out, farm gold to come back and craft. If it's unlimited crafting, you know, where does the economy go? So you can farm resources in most games and then craft and sell. Yeah, true. you do like to craft, but I guess it is forcing you. So I guess if you're a crafter, then you don't want to go do those type of activities to get the money to craft. So it's sort of forcing you. It is forcing you to go out and do things you don't want to do so you can craft. When other games where it doesn't cost you money, you just craft. There's no other way about it. So I guess for me, I don't mind it because if I need gold, then I go farm the gold, then I come back, then I can craft, and then it's this circle that you end up doing, and you get stronger and stronger. So yeah, I went into the beta weekend to see how much you can focus on crafting. Okay, because you don't have the gold, yeah, you can't focus on crafting as much as you want to. I guess the crafting, I wouldn't say the crafting is huge in the sense that there's a massive array of things. But what I do like is there is the chance, that roll that you can get a high tier weapon or low tier weapon based on how you crafted. So for example, let's go back 10 seconds. So for this guy, does it say it on this screen? Yeah, so equipment score. So we can get a tier 3. So we can get if we were to make an unstable chain blades, we could go between level equipment score 15 and 25. You have to be level 15 first before you can make it. And then when you craft it, you also have the optional, and we'll just keep watching, you also have those optional, I can't remember what they are, those blue things to increase, actually, was it attributes? Actually, go back, it says it there, I'll read it. So you got a prefix. So dual socket has a very high chance to be imbued upon acquiring. So that they weren't in the game just yet, but that's one thing. So we can get dual sockets to add to the weapons. Then we've got prefixes. So it has a very high chance to imbue to upon acquiring. So hopefully we get a prefix. And then general attribute 1 has a very high chance of being imbued upon acquiring. So they're all gambles. They're all gambles you can have. So that's the endless loop. You could make 40 of these chain blades and all 40 could be different. Then the auction house, because there's not a lot of crafting items, is completely flooded with the same items. Well, I guess to that point, I was saying, I guess the auction house might have 400 chain blades, but they would be different chain blades with different attributes, different prefixes and so forth. Paid item to increase chance of better item. Hope, Mighty Allen, we are not going to assume that they're going to add paid items. Hopefully not. So if they did make it pay to win, you could start buying stuff, then that would be very disappointing. I'm wasting my time if that's the case. You level when you craft? You do. You know, definitely, if they added pay to win in here, or you pay for anything to get any materials or anything, very disappointed. I will be very disappointed. I'll be wasting my time. I could be playing games right now, but no, I'm looking at Chrono Odyssey because I want Chrono Odyssey to be the game of the year. And the fact that they're focusing on the things that we asked them to focus on from the beta, whether that was a tactic themselves, I don't know, but just because they would have known that the feedback would have been what would have gone through. You would have been stupid if you didn't know that. So pause there. So we're tier 3. So you got processing mastery, berserker XP. I want him to highlight the optional materials. So berserker. I really wanted these chain blades, didn't I? Yes, here we go. So this is one thing I didn't do, and I should have done more of, is go and try. It's like I was playing the game forever. I was trying to keep my resources where I should have stepped up and used the next rarity, for sure. Any publicity is good publicity. That's true. because I was just using the basic ones, and then you'd step up. What were they called again? I cannot remember. So in here, I guess, so we use the base material, so titanium and red lumber. So we got that, and then the optional material, advanced arch. Is it Archie or Arc? How would you say that? But I guess they were the ones that improved the quality. For some reason, I always had a red down arrow, so I don't know why that was the case. But that would also improve the quality. But it may not have been in the beta because I wasn't seeing how it was improving the quality. I'm just making this assumption. And then we've got life mastery. I don't know how the weapon crafting levels apply to the weapon themselves either. So that'll be another thing. So if I don't know what levels, let's just say there's max level, 20 levels. If I'm max level for weapon crafting, how does this weapon change by being crafted by a max level item crafter or weapon crafter versus someone who's not? And the other question is, are we going to get to max level in game and people aren't going to have these skills, or does the game force everyone to get to that level? Because if it doesn't force people to get to that level, and this is where it might be viable for you, old man, where you can go in and you can be that max level crafter where everyone is going to you and paying you for the things that they need. Will be the same as New World, you reckon? Probably will be. Hey. And then there we go. We got so from that, we had, was it 15 and 25? And I rolled a 22. Now, is 22 completely random? Or was it something I did to make that level 22? I don't know. And here's where we got where the weapon's imbued and so forth. So we got 19 strength, 9 intellect. And then we got relentless, 15 plus 15 damage over time attack. So there you go. They're the things that you get. And if that's not what you wanted, you got to go re-roll. You go re-roll, or you had the other vendor where you could switch some attributes across, and that would cost money in itself. So I think I do like the game of playing of you do the work, you go craft, and then there's nothing better than when you craft an item where it's much higher than you expect. And you get the stats and the match that you need. The other good one that I did like was you're not necessarily locked into strength or intellect or wisdom. You do play with them across the board. Where your character, okay, you might be better with strength, but at the same time, intellect's not bad as well. I'm gonna have to find in the video where I actually went over the bits and pieces because I hovered over. I did a video where I went over every statistic, but there's a good chance with all betas, statistics are going to change. Balancing and so forth, because I haven't spoken so much about balancing. And there we go. Oh, and then we got a jewel slot. So as we can see, we got the jewel slot. I actually didn't know how to put the jewel on. Oh, no, it's not that I didn't know how to put the jewel on. Oh, my goodness. Go forward. Where were we? So get back to my inventory. So as you can see, we actually were looking at the jewel. So I got the jewel slot on my what are these called? Chain blades? Is that what they're called? So, but this one was a tier 5 legendary jewel, where these was a tier 3 weapon. That would have given me sweeping slash 2, increases the level of sweeping slash by 2, increases the mastery level of sweeping slash by 2. So I do like these improvements. I think the improvements, adding to weapons, increasing your power is very, very nice. Twin axes. Oh, don't know what the purple one was. But same again, you might get a jewel. It's like, oh, I got a jewel. It's tier 4. Yep, I got a tier 4 weapon. What is the ability that it's giving the increase for? And if you pick that up, that's something you might be able to sell in the auction house. Might not be good for you, but if someone else is running that ability, and if they got 4 tiers or for each weapon, then that's where it's going to change things as well. Even here, even the equipment's got. I've got empty jewel slots. I've got empty jewel slots across the majority of the stuff that I have. but they were teasing it by just giving you level 4. And here's the thing. So this is what I'm thinking without them explaining with a developer update, without them explaining exactly what the matrix is. I assume they're just adding a 4th tier to this. So you got I'm assuming this is 1 tier on the left, 1 tier in the middle, and 1 tier on the right. And as you can see, all the passives down the middle were fantastic. The fact you can stack them up to 3, you eventually got very strong, very, very strong. I didn't get a chance to play with these a lot, unfortunately. Was this Chain Cleave. Execute a one-handed slash dealing 68% damage using the skill against, again, activates a second attack, dealing 102% damage. Grants Bloodthirst upon landing the first attack. Bloodthirst recovers. So I actually didn't know what Bloodthirst was, but it's telling me right here. Bloodthirst recovers 0.5% HP over 12 seconds, increases attack by 10%, stacks up to 5 times. So what's that? So stacking, what would the stacking be exactly? Let me have a look. I'm just going to put the calculation in. Get the calculator out. So I guess the HP will go to 2.5% HP over 12 seconds. That's very slow. That's very slow if that's the case. I think you can look at everything in the starting tutorial area. What do you mean? Oh, you can, in regard to the abilities, Mighty, is that what you're referring to? See, but so Bloodthirst, it says, so I did. At the end of the beta, I got another video where I literally hovered over everything. So we might look at that a little bit later. But for example, the Chain Cleave though, Chain Cleave 1, so by picking up Chain Cleave 1, it gives you this ability, but then does it give us an extra 10% HP on top of, so if we're 100 HP, by having Chain Cleave as an ability on our bar, do we now have 110 HP? What does that HP actually mean? And then if this is recover 0.5% HP over 12 seconds, or I think that one's not clear either. Is it 0.5% every second over 12 seconds? Because then that will be okay. Then it's still terrible. But if it's stacking up to 5 times and it was 2.5% every second for 12 seconds, then that would be worthwhile. Yeah. Glacial Strike. Execute a downward strike and dashes to the landing location, dealing a total of 222% damage and inflicting chill on enemies. And chill reduces movement speed by 4% for 24 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. At max stacks, inflicts freeze. Freeze deals 100% damage and freezes. That is ridiculous. That's a big ability. I want the cooldown 50 seconds though. That's a massive ability. And that's only level 1 at Glacial Strike. So it's just going to be crazy how much you can actually progress from power-wise. Soaring Blades. It would have been nice to be able to try these in the beta. Executes an upward slash, dealing 113 damage, inflicting chill. Reduces movement speed. So chill again. Nothing amazing. I assume once we get to Soaring Blades 2, 3, or 4, whatever, how far, or 3, I'll get better. Because some of these abilities, they start off bad, but you persevere because you want to get to the next chain. Increases the damage of basic attacks by an additional 20%. I'm guessing by the next one is 30%. So that's what I'm saying. These passives are ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want these passives? Well, that's why I got it. I'm not even playing the game. Look, I'm persevering. I'm trying to figure out how to put this bloody jewel on. Did anyone do the cat quest where you had to go find the cat on the ledge? Ah, this is right. This is where they didn't have much in here. Didn't have much in here at all. From a crafting perspective, in the beta you couldn't craft much, but there was a lot of jewelry out in the world. As you can see, by the end of it, I just had all purple necklaces and rings and stuff. Now, this is the guy. So this is the guy where you get your special attribute, you take it off, and you can transfer it to another item. But the item that you're transferring it to needs to be the same item. So whether you got the special, this type of necklace needs to go into another type of necklace. Then you salvage your items at Tilda. And then the Enchanter. Now I actually should have done this more near the end of the beta, because it's not like I was holding onto my resources for anything. But these transient shards, they were quite good. If you get these transient shards, 50 gold, you can grab any piece of your equipment and you can enchant it. So it looks like with the unstable, so I don't know if it's the same for all weapons, depending on what you've got. But as you can see, the unstable chain blades has a maximum of 7 times I can enchant it. It increases the attack by 5. Crit rate doesn't change. Damage over time attack doesn't change. The strength goes up though, so that's nice. So if we look at 7 options to do that, I'm guessing the transient shards and the gold requirements go up, and maybe other mats also go up as you go higher. But it's definitely worthwhile doing. So this is the best part about the game. If you're struggling on a boss or you can't get through one area, then you just keep farming and farming and farming to give you the ability to get back in. No enchantment effect. I didn't notice this one. So down the bottom, enchantment effect. No enchantment effect. I wonder what that is. Oh, yes, I think I enchanted this. Come on, enchant it. Stop thinking about it. Ah, you're so close. Oh, there we go. Yeah, what did I just press then to get that? Was there a button you need to press to get that? Ah, here we go. Attach jewel. So as you're hovering over the weapon, you unequip, repair, attach jewel, lock, and destroy. Locking, obviously, very good so you don't accidentally sell it. Make sure you lock your stuff. Make sure you lock it. Yeah, that's good. See, it's not too complicated. The game's not complicated, but there's a lot in it. There's still a lot in it. Like, it requires you to go around and suss it out. Quest item. All right, what's next? Potions and food are very viable. Some games you go around and you don't bother. You don't bother using them. Let's just pause on there for a second. Oh. Go back. Yeah, now the food, the drinks, and the potions are all very viable. Carry them on you, use them, sell them, do what you need to do with them. So what was I doing here? So I was going from a tier 2 to a tier 3. 2 different cloaks. Equipment score, only 3 points between them. But as you can see, the magic damage and the physical the magic defense and the physical defense go up by going to the tier 3. Can you use a second heal too? Yes, you can stack. You can stack the food. As long as the foods weren't similar. So if you had like an attacking food, you obviously eat the highest attacking food. You had a healing food, which was great. When you say you can use a second heal, just to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, Mighty, what was the second heal that you're referring to? Because you had the potion for the heal, and then you mean a food for a heal. So what do we had here? So we've got a jewel socket on the tier 3 cloak. The warrior had 12 strength, where warriors, and then the cloak of courage had 14 strength. So a little bit there. I was hoping there's going to be a difference. And then we have Guardian on the Cloak of Courage. So this is where it changes. You might go, no, I don't want to use the Cloak of Courage. You might stick with the tier 2 Cloak because Guardian, which is for monsters, a 1.87% damage reduction on monsters. Damage reduction. I'm assuming the damage reduction is on you. See, this is where it's weird. No, it's on them. I think it's on them. Because on this one, you got Destroyer on monsters, which is a 2.21% damage boost on monsters. So even though you might... And look, I'm pretty sure I'm reading this correctly. I apologize if I'm not. This one is saying that you get a damage reduction against monsters, but this one's giving you 2.21% damage boost against monsters. So you really have to do the calculations of, what's better. Some for the food, heals health. Yeah, food and drink. Yeah, food and drink. So yeah, Guardian is terrible. Why do you want a 1.87% damage reduction? That's a trade-off, but yeah, I don't like it. For tier 3, from a tier 2 to tier 3, you got 2 points in strength between and 10 points in defense for what? 0.4%. Oh, well, no. There's a massive difference. There's 3, I'm literally going to get a calculator out for this one. So we've got 1.87 plus 2.21 equals, there's 4% difference in damage on that one. Yeah, well, for this one, you'd say the damage is better. You wouldn't. They're both PvE components for monsters, but it depends on how much that strength, how much one strength equals. Is it worth that 4% that you lose versus going back to tier 2? But interesting one. And then we've got the boots. So here we go. The boots, though, where you got the tier 2, they're terrible. They got the monster reduction, where my tier 3 is so much better. We got magic defense, physical defense, crit rate. But I guess in the stats on the tier 2, look, tier 3 should always be better in some instances. The only problem, though, is with the Sentry Chain Boots, the tier 3 ones, that's when now we go to intellect and dexterity over dexterity and strength. Vital defense, 1.03% crit damage reduction. Crit. Hang on a second. So these Sentry Chain Boots with a vital defense with a crit damage reduction, where on the boots themselves, they naturally have a crit rate. So crit rate's up. The crit resistance is up. It's the damage is reduced. Okay. So we might hit with a crit, but the damage won't be as high because of... Gotcha. That makes sense now. See, and this is what happened. You get so far in the game, it's like now the game is getting tough. I can't go any further. You have to stop. You go, my equipment score is too low. Even though you can go in places with the equipment score too low, you stop, you go do your farming, you do your bits and pieces, and then you go build your gear. Very simple. And from memory, I think that's what I was doing here. And when we salvaged these things, what were we getting from them? I'm just looking for a... so we got our, what they were called, the Archies again. Some timber and some iron, I think that was. No money from the salvage. But you can go sell the stuff if you want to go sell this stuff. Like this guy. So we can sell the stuff to this guy. Did I sell anything? Oh, it's like I'm almost playing the game by myself. So we've got our keys. What was that key for? It's only tier 2 though. So we'll find out. I knew what these keys were. We were picking up so many of these potions. The problem with the potions, I wasn't a big fan of potions just because they were so short. I couldn't understand why there was some things you could not sell. Oh. So this is one thing I didn't even know from the beginning. These elixirs, if you can farm these elixirs and we figure out where all these elixirs are, they're amazing. Like a rare potion infused with mystic power permanently increases healing by 1. That's just one of them. The other one was like increasing your strength by 5, for example, which is amazing. What we got in there? We got 15 wisdom on the Outlaw's necklace. Outlaw increases temporal isolation resistance. I don't know what that is, by 40. Oh, isolation resistance was I think you could fly. You're essentially flying or gliding. That's right. 40% is pretty big. That's very big. And then provoke increases threat by 10 upon landing in an attack. So if you're playing an attack build, I think the Outlaw's necklace is very good. Very good. Buy an apple while I'm there. Just inviting everybody. I'm trying to invite Frankie's to the guild. I should have done more jewels. I only did 1 jewel. It wasn't fair when I was like level 16. I fought someone who's level 6. So at the moment, the guild level... Oh, there he goes. See the guy in the back carrying the cat? That was that quest. You had to go jump on the roof and find the cat. Castavike, invite. One thing I probably would have liked, if you could zoom out just a little bit more from your character. Like, it is very close. Just stop inviting people and let's go kill something. We'll move forward. We'll move forward from here. Who is this guy? Torgan. Didn't stand a chance. Look at him. The guy's running away. Easy peasy. Ember Breath. What were the Ember Breath? The Ember Breath, I think they were important for something. Because I've got a few of them down here. I think I ran over the arcane water and I was like, yep, nah, I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. Oh no, so Archie, spring water. So these, I didn't think it was important, but these are important. So if you see these, mine them 100%. These will give you the things so you can upgrade when you're doing your crafts. You can upgrade your, what is it? That optional material. You can use a higher tier one. This took me ages to mine. As you can see, it's barely going anywhere. Almost there, halfway through. Almost got it. There we go. 6 superior Archies. And then Archie Springwater. Is it called Archie? I don't know. I'm just going to call it Archie. But yeah, 6 superior just from that node. So it's definitely worthwhile getting. Now this is where I think I come across a world boss I wasn't expecting. I was hoping to get leather from these guys, I think it was. But we didn't get enough. Thin rawhide. I need thick rawhide, I think it was. Most important part. Oh no. How is my title June Awakening PvP in Deep Desert? Fucking hell. Where's my bloody YouTube? Let me change that for a second. This guy was ridiculous. That's better. That makes sense. So yeah, that guy was absolutely kicking my ass. I wasn't going to give him another chance. So down the bottom here, the main reason I was over here was for the panthers. I think that's what they're called. What were they called? Leopards. The leopards, they were giving me the thick leather, I think it was. So even still, you wouldn't necessarily get it off them. It would be rare. I don't know if getting a better knife would give you a high increase, a percentage of getting better stuff. All it did tell me was it would give me more XP towards my life skill. And there we go, we've got rawhide, some rawhide. So you go around, you'll farm these guys for a fair bit, trying to get the leather you need. There was one bear who was pretty tough. He was giving me what I needed. And down here we had those red trees to give you that red lumber. So the stuff is rare. You do need to go search for it. It's not. They are in static locations, so at least you do know where you have to go to get them. But they are spread out. Thick rawhide. There we go. So that guy gave me 2 thick rawhide. Oh, poor bloke didn't stand a chance. It was those new blades. They were ridiculous. Loved them. Absolutely loved them. It also gave you a very short range. Let's just say throw. It wasn't like a ranged attack. It was probably like a meter in front of you. It wasn't far, but it would keep you that little bit away, that arm's distance away from anyone where they could attack you. It was funny. I was farming for rawhide in the beginning. It was so hard to get rawhide. Now that I'm around here, I think I went back with like 40 something rawhide when we just needed 2 in the earlier levels. I think when they improve the graphics, I think some of these abilities are going to look really good. Having so many different abilities and seeing these abilities fire off. And I hope they have like a progression level. So from 1, 2, and 3, when you upgrade them, that they are better. They look better and they have a bigger explosion, for example. This probably has, probably, this 100% has better endgame, Mighty. 100% this has better endgame. Yeah, I'd have to. I think I ended up not fighting a guy, but I had to rush these trees. I never ended up putting a fourth ability on, I realised. So you get 1 to 4 on the ability. I only end up running with 3. I missed out. We need to speed up. We need to speed up that skinning. So same again, I'm not getting thick raw hide necessarily. I had to farm these leopards for a while. And then when you see someone else running in, it's that whole charge of who's going to get it first. The problem is when you're out there farming in the world, anyone with a bow is going to outdo you any day of the week. The other thing I didn't try, as a berserker, the berserker's got his set weapons. I never actually tried to see if I could put it on another class's weapon. I doubt I can. And here he comes. This guy's coming in to get the red trees. He's just looking at me like, what is this guy doing? HEZTXDY. These were hefty trees as well. But look, I can definitely see the resemblance of New World. 100% can see the resemblance of New World. The biggest difference for me is running around and finding, I guess, the Souls-like formula that's in the game. I think there's a fair bit more variety. And I don't think I needed, or I didn't see that it didn't feel like I had to farm as much. I remember I spent hours and hours mining flax across multiple days and then just fighting other people to get that flax as well. You essentially had a spawn of flax in New World you'd be rotating through. Oh, here he comes. Launched it off. Here we go, advanced Archies. Got some mistletoe. See what else we're missing. Now we're getting tanky. Look at us go. See, my whole accessory bar is filled with purple. Hover over your accessories. Oh, almost. So what we've got here. So we've got the Pursuer's a belt. 21 gear score. Max HP, 327. Got a bag weight capacity boost. That was good. Anything with a bag weight capacity boost, mainly belts, was very, very good. You can hold so much. Like I can hold 400 at my current level. I think strength was the other thing that would increase it. And then we've got the 11 strength, 5 dexterity, Derrider. Upon landing an attack, deals damage over time equal to 11% of attack for 5 seconds. Very good. And then threat reduction reduces threat by 50 upon being hit. So I'm a tanky guy, so I don't need threat reduction. But everything else on this belt, very good. Very good belt. I'm still persisting with these jewels, thinking I'm going to find a jewel. Good old salvage. Got 67 of those Archies. Don't need them, but we'll take it. I was going to see if we're going to enchant something. How many did we end up getting the guild? We got 33 members, 13 online. So the average game time over the beta was 11 hours. Not bad, not bad. I definitely got more than 11. I'm pretty sure I did. What am I thinking about? The hearty porridge was good, or pottage. So I've got three food buffs on at the moment, and then abilities from my, let's just say it's a necklace or whatever it's currently got on. And then I've got rage. I assume that's rage of 5 built up. Actually, I don't know what the rage does though, unfortunately. And I'm currently looking for herbs. So I guess this was I didn't mind this part. The fact that I had to run around, everything was in together. So it wasn't a field of herbs and it's like, all right, I'm just farming herbs. As you're running around the world, everything was together. It was, you had to search for it. To be spending many, many hours doing this. You need to be, yeah. That would be good if you could mouse over your buffs. I think was there a way to find out your buffs? No, I'm thinking of maybe Dune. I think it was you press T. But yeah, if there's a way to find out what your buffs were, that would have been nice. Because as you can see, there's so many buffs there. No idea what they're doing. And they went for so long as well, so really good. Like some games food isn't as viable, or you might just stack it for when you're in battle or something like this. For this game, I feel like food is just overall amazing. Like if you don't have it on, you're missing out. And this is why the herbs are great. I'm trying to think what I was. I can't remember what I needed the herbs for. It's funny. You got a sickle. You got these 2 big ass little axes, and then you pull out a sickle. You would chop these trees down in no time. What's going to be good is when they improve these graphics. That's going to make the world so much better. All right. Well, what we're going to do, my desktop, I must have recorded my whole desktop. I went to bed. So what we'll do, we'll duck off tonight. So that was good. That was a good update. Just recap. So on the developers notes, got them on my little notepad here. So we had, so they admitted, yep, game's not perfect. Main things were animations, combat, responsiveness, performance, and graphics. The main issues within the game that's currently in there at the moment. They're going to give us a multi-part update. So we're going to do in 2 stages. First stage was going to do the improvements in combat and animation, which is great. The new matrix system. So each class weapon will get 4 progression paths. Then the camera overhaul. I think this is one we were talking about mainly before, is that fixing the lock-on problems and the abrupt target changes, awkward zoom and vertical shakes. That did make it a bit challenging as you were fighting some of the bosses mainly. This one's interesting, the longer hit reactions, so 2 to 4 seconds to add risk reward plus fixing unnatural floating movements. So the 2 to 4 second longer hit reaction, that would be different. That sounds like a stun to me, but we'll see what that is exactly. The floating movement was very bad, but it didn't deter me too much. Then we've got performance and optimization. So GPU load using instance static meshes or repeated assets to cut draw calls. Which is good. Then we've got, it's getting technical now. Trim sheets, so using single shared textures for many details, saving memory while keeping visuals sharp. Collision data loaded only when needed, reducing memory bloat. Dynamic loading, high-end PCs get better assets, low-end get optimized ones for stable performance. And then we move into the graphic enhancements. Rendering pipeline, consolidated shaders, better ocean wave effects with less GPU strain, screen quality, so new temporal super resolution setting for clearer images, Upscaling support, so we'll get DLSS and FSR. That's very good. As we know, if you've got a game these days and you've got an NVIDIA 4th gen or running AMD, you do want to run with that better performance. The lighting systems, lighting, as you can see it on the screen right now, how bad the lighting was in some instances. So the cluster-based management, reducing redundant calculations, maintaining consistent exposure. That would be nice. And then, so that's part one. And then part two was they're going to cover the sound. They're going to do UI, UX, social features, and progression. Plus many, many more after that. But at least we know what the devs are focusing on. They've only got a few months to go, so hopefully it's not too much of a tedious task. But we'll just have to see what they've got in store after that. Other than that, I'm going to log off, get to bed. Might go play some Mecha Break. But I'll catch you on the next one. See you guys. Bye-bye. See you, Marty.